What's up, people? Matthew Belcher, abuild.com. Just wanted to do an update on one of the builds we got going on in the shop here. We got this one building on 40s, on 40-inch tires. They're pretty big, so but also road drivable at the same time. This guy's going to use this as a daily driver. We also have another video on this when we first started, but this is just kind of an update. Also give y'all some knowledge on how we set up the buggies. If you hear that in the background, nothing we can do about it. All right, people. Anyways, so we built the chassis on the table. That's how we always build the chassis. You can get them square, you can get them true. I've done them on concrete floors before. However, if you have a chassis table, I highly recommend using a chassis table because you can really get things dialed in. Once we get everything built on the chassis, we drug it down here and put it on the lift. And the point of doing that is we're able to slide the axles under both front and rear and kind of set up our wheelbase and get everything, the pinion angle and everything just like we like it. Then take our length measurements. Once we get our length measurements, then we bolt the axles to the chassis. We got our radiator up front in this buggy. A lot of guys are putting radiators in the back. However, we're trying to set it up more like a vehicle so we don't have to run the lines, and we're also trying to use the back of these buggies for storage and also hauling goods and stuff like that. So we're putting the radiators up front similar to a regular style vehicle build. Going to build some protection around the bottom of it to keep rocks and sticks and stuff out of it. Got this winch. We're going to come out with the tube right here, build a little front grill assembly. This is a 4-seater buggy. We're using the 360 out of that in that first video. You'll see the Jeep that was rolled over. It had a 5.9 liter, a 360, and they're pretty good motors to work with, to be honest with you. They're pretty simple. We bought an aftermarket harness that eliminated all the madness in that, and just makes it super simple. You've got a distributor cap. It's a very simple motor, and it's also a 5.9. It's a 360, so it's got power in it. There's not a lot of aftermarket accessories for them like there is for the LS market. However, I mean, it's a nice solid 5.9. Thing's got power to it. So it's a, like I said, 4-seater buggy. We changed it. It's similar to the MV. We changed the chassis design a little bit, changed some of the tubing, trying to make it more efficient for mass producing and manufacturing here. If you come over to the side, we've got the carrier bearing set. We're running 1410 joints on this thing. 1480 is a little overkill unless you're running high horsepower. 1350, in my opinion, is a little small for a motor this big with wheels and tires, so we're running 1410 on here. We got the Atlas 2-speed transfer case. This is the standard Jeep transmission. I think it's a 44RE or something like that. It comes in the Jeep Grand Cherokees back behind the 5.2 and the 5.9. He had Doug Thorley, I think. Doug Thorley headers on this thing. We've had to change them. Everything gets tight when you're building a buggy, being drive shafts, carrier bearings, everything is tight, as well as fitting the floorboard down on top of it. So everything's tight. We had to make some modifications of those headers, but we're getting it all. It's all set up. We're about to start building panels and build our way up, do the dash, roof panels, set the seats, all the good jazz from here. We got 4-link mounts on the front and the rear. We do all those mounts on the table as well, just because you can really get them true. You can, like the chassis table, like I said, you draw a line on the chassis table, you can get it measured out, measured up, use spacers for setting everything. It really works out if you have that available. 4-seater, like I said, rear carrier bearing. This is not how the back of the buggy is going to be. We did this for, this is basically just a jig for setting up. So we've got the bottom frame rail. This will be here. We use these for basically setting the chassis. So when you build a chassis, what we do is you always need to work from one side to the other. It gives you a good starting point. So we cut these, everything we cut is on the CNC. So being all the copes and the notches, as long as your CAD drawing's accurate, it should be spot on. So we cut these spacers in there, then basically work our way from the back to the front or from the front to the back. On this one, we work back to front, cut these, and basically sandwich everything back. There's that dump truck I was talking about. So anyways, sandwich it back and then work your way forward. It gives you a good starting point. It makes everything true. And being with everything CNC, it keeps it spot on. So these are going to be cut off. What we're doing right here is we're setting our links. Then we're going to mount our shocks. Once we mount our shocks in here and we have our links set, then we're going to flex test it. We're going to stuff this 40 up in here and make sure that we'll have clearance no matter where we come back with this sidebar. But you always want to do that. It's better to work smarter than harder. Do what you can up front as opposed to rework. Rework will slow down a fabric shop drastically and cost lots of money. So that's an update to the build. 14 bolt rear, 14 bolt front, steering axle, crane axle. I love crane axle. Solid products. We're going Radflow shocks on here, Cerakoted. We got them black Cerakoted, so they should be super clean. We've done that anodized, the black anodized before. It gets a little whiteness on it over the time, over the period it sits and gets weathered. But if you go Cerakoting, so we got black Cerakote on here, and man, does it look good. You'll see those in the future buggies, or in the future videos coming up on this build. Just wanted to give you all an update. Like I said, check out this MV4. We're about to start going to trade shows again. This is another MV4 we have in the shop here. We built a roof for this thing, and man, did it turn out good. It's got a nice glossy paint color on it. The other one we did flat. It was matte before. This one's gloss now, and really cleaned it up. We stuck this roof. We've got weather stripping on the bottom, weather stripping on the top, so the water should come on, go right over the top, and roll right over. Keep you dry, whether you're driving in a storm at 90 miles an hour or hanging out in the woods, you know what I mean? But like I said, we're building this one based off of this one. We're changing a few things up, cleaning up the manufacturing process, and yeah, selling more and more of them. So if you need a 4-seater or a 2-seater buggy, don't hesitate to holler at us. If you look over there behind the MV4, we got a little 2-seater chassis. We're going to do another video on that, basically give a description on what we got going on with that one. But we're knocking these buggies out, people, so y'all need some buggy work, holler at us, 8built.com. Appreciate the support. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and that like button. And if you got any questions, comment, you want to see something or you want a tech tip, holler at us. Leave it in the comments. Appreciate you. 8built.com.